couple of things set Bolt apart. First is that we're the largest European super app in the mobility space, which is that we not only do ride hailing, but we also offer a wide variety of services to replace the private car. We have the fastest growing ride hailing platform in the world, operating in 40 countries with more than 2.5 million drivers on the platform. We have the fastest growing food delivery platform in Europe, operating in 20 countries, called Bolt Food. And we're also the largest e-scooter operator in Europe, operating in close to 200 cities now. So we have very wide product footprint that covers all of the different needs people have in terms of personal mobility and deliveries. And we have more than 75 million customers that already use these services daily. So it's something that really sets us apart, is the geographic focus on Europe and Africa and this wide products that we have.
Which bits of the business, Markus, are the hardest to either A, get to profitability in, or B, maintain profitability?
It depends a lot on the geography and the local competition there, because again, all of these businesses are hyper-local. It doesn't matter how big you are in Asia or how big you are in the US. What matters is that you need to have local supply on the ground in real time. But what we have seen over the years is that ride-hailing proves to be one of the hardest businesses in terms of the financials, because it's also one of the largest businesses there is. It's significantly bigger in terms of gross bookings and revenues than the scooter mobility business, for example.
Can I ask you about pricing, Markus? What pressure are you under at the moment to move prices higher for consumers across all your segments? Because we've had a very, very difficult 18 months where we're seeing cost price inflation, both in labour and in commodities and raw materials.
Well, ultimately, Bolt as a platform is not really the one that dictates the prices, but rather what we see is that the prices are dynamically set real time, depending on the local available supply and demand. But as you've said, what we see across the board, both in Europe and Africa, is that the prices now are higher than ever, because demand has rebounded after COVID so strong, and the supply side in terms of drivers or couriers just haven't been able to catch up yet. But we do see that, of course, basic market economics is starting to trend back to an equilibrium, and we do expect the prices to stabilize now over the coming months. Again, what does set Bolt apart here is that we've always had a far more frugal culture and more cost-efficient operations than any of our peers. So still, despite prices increasing across the sector, Bolt still remains the most affordable option on the consumer side by far.
We've seen a lot of M&A activity, particularly around the food delivery space recently. Do you anticipate that is going to continue across all segments of mobility? And ultimately, what role will you play in any of that?
We're already the largest ride-hailing player from Europe, and we don't really see that there's that significant players in Europe that would make sense for us to merge or collaborate with in the short term. But of course, we're open to partnering with companies across the region. That said, we see there's far more likelihood of consolidation in the e-scooter space because it's more nascent. There's a large number of players there, and it's clear not all of them are going to make it. It's a very high-scale business where you do need to have hundreds of thousands of scooters across all these markets in order to make the economics work.
And just to wrap up, can you just give us an update? What's the timeline on the path to profitability now, and where are you on the speculation around going to public markets?
So as a company, we are still continuing to very aggressively invest in growth, both in terms of geographies, launching new cities and new countries by the month, but also launching new products. So we just in the last few months have launched our latest grocery delivery product called Bolt Market, which are now rolling out in more than 10 countries, and also Bolt Drive, our car sharing product. So as a group, we're reinvesting the profits that the first cities are generating from the ride-hailing and food delivery businesses and investing those into continued expansion. And that relates to the going public question as well, which is that we see there's plenty of investor appetite for these type of technology growth businesses on the private side. So there is no rush from a funding point of view to go public in the near term.